Hey guys, welcome back. So, in between last video, I was looking at our stats and our levels, and notably, I do not have any cold resist, which could be a problem for the fight with Duriel, as he has a Holy Freeze aura. So, in light of that, I was thinking it might be best to respect the Lord of Pain, as it were, and level up a bit before we head into the final fight. So I was thinking I'm going to at least want to get 19, which I mean I probably would have gotten anyways, but I'm thinking I might want to get all the way up to 20, which will involve a bit of tomb raiding. So we know the triangle tomb is the correct one, but I think we're going to want to go into some fake tombs just to get a bit of extra XP. Which it shouldn't take too long, because tombs are a good point of XP. It is the recommended area prior to cow runs for most people, so I'll just kill some of the guys out here. Still unsure if I'm gonna stick to it. I think it might be for the best. I'm pretty sure Duriel is a level 22 mob, so I mean he is a higher level than us, which is noteworthy compared to last time where we were actually higher level than Duriel. And I think it's fair to say that Duriel might be one of the hardest bosses on normal, so I think the extra bit of caution is warranted, just because he can be quite scary. I'm going to pump points into Vitality, as the main worry is getting bursted, and health is always good. I think I'm going to start putting points into Sacrifice for the added damage. I think that's the correct call. I've mentioned it a lot, the idea of whether to level up Zeal or level up Sacrifice. It's a difference between 10% attack rating and 6% damage, or 12% damage. And while that might seem like a strange thing to choose between, it is kind of important. Essentially, it's whether or not you think you're going to miss enough that you can warrant losing out on 6% damage every level. So I'm going to go with Sacrifice, which might be a mistake, but I feel like our attack rating's been pretty good so far. We're going to keep our dex up because we're going to want max block, so we're going to go with Sacrifice for the time being. Now, as far as fighting Duriel is concerned, he has I believe he has a basic attack, a Sacrifice type attack, so like a higher damage single hit, and then he has a jab type attack where he swings multiple times in a row, kind of like us. I believe those are all his attacks, plus he has a Holy Freeze aura that adds cold to his basic attacks as well as slows us in an AoE. So it's going to be the fight itself with Duriel is very up close and personal. You do not have very much room to run, so you kind of just have to sit there and take it. Now, like I said, we have 0 cold resist, which is kind of an issue. It can be remedied slightly by having thawing potions, which actually temporarily can give you extra cold resist, and also increase your maximum cold resist. That's something a lot of people don't really know about. is that you can, prior to the fight, and I mean these potions are dirt cheap, you can just start chugging thawing potions, because the effect, while the resistance effect doesn't stack, the duration does. So you can essentially give yourself however long you want to chug potions worth of 50% cold resist, which is super helpful in a fight where you're against a guy who does primarily cold damage. So that's something to keep in mind, but with that being said, it would still be nice to have a bit of cold resist base just to help us out even further, as well as, you know, the usual more health, more defense, that sort of thing that everyone wants to have. We could try and make a resistance shield. One of the common strategies is to essentially you throw a bunch of diamonds into a shield, preferably a Paladin shield, being that we're a Paladin, because they usually have plus to all resists on them themselves. Although we have a really good shield right now in the fact that it has such a high chance to block, and even though Duriel is a cold boss, he also, you know, does most of his damage physically. So, and he is blockable, so blocking his attacks is really helpful. Might be time to replace our helmet with something that gives more defense. I'll probably do a full inventory check prior to the next video, where I'm going to actually go and fight Duriel. I'm gonna stock up on everything and make sure all my equipment is as good as possible, because this is probably the first real situation where, like, even if I play relatively well, I could still die. Like, up to this point, it's pretty much me making mistakes is the ability for me to die. And I'm not saying I'm playing perfectly, I'm just not playing extremely stupidly. Which, I guess I get a participation award for not being a total idiot. But Duriel, like, is legitimately threatening. And I know I'm hyping him up for what could be an easy fight, but it also could just be video starts, watch me die. So I'm just being extra careful because I don't want to lose out on this character in this run just because I'm being reckless. So and that's the justification for that. Plus, I mean, at some point it's going to be better to be a higher level anyways. So while I said I was probably going to avoid doing this kind of thing frequently, I thought I would do it as a nod to the fact that Duriel is a very powerful boss fight, potentially. He's very gear checky in that you need to make sure you haven't been coasting on prior areas being easy. So we've been picking up a lot of runes, so I might actually check and see if I could get a cheap rune word or something to help us out. I'm not sure what ones would be useful. I think we have a decent weapon, so like crafting steel or something might not be helpful, but maybe some sort of defensive item could help us out. I don't know, I'll look into it. That'll probably be, I won't bore you guys to death by shopping around forever. I'll just probably, in the next video right at the start, do what I normally do and show the gear check. In the meantime, just going to keep pushing through all the undead here. I think we just walked into the super unique. I couldn't tell. I was trying to check, but then I took a dark bolt to the face there. You're getting so many runes. It's great. We are killing the preserved dead, which they cannot revive. Okay, that's most of them. Now, on to the main guy here. And yeah, that is a super unique. Pretty powerful one at that, hence why our Merc just died. Boom, got him. Okay. Yeah, we have a ton of runes all of a sudden. I am going to get our Merc back and stash some of this equipment. And then we'll keep going. Like I said, the leveling didn't take too long. We were almost already at 20. Luckily for us. All resistance 12, but we lose out on a lot of 5 strength. You know what? 5 strength is probably better than that. It's not the worst gem that's ever existed. So we have a lot of runes in our collection. Fortunately, that's something that we've been gaining on. I'm sure no one wants to watch Inventory Manager 2016, but they're probably wondering why I'm holding on to that stuff. That's just because I'm trying to go through it quickly. We're going to get our Merc back. We're going to do a bit more leveling up.
Who goes there?
Welcome back, Mr. Durga. We could probably get him some gear too, actually. Boom, we'll say this was intended.
I'll put that to good use.
Enjoy your cap. Or cap replacement. Now let's get back in this tomb. And let's keep killing. Like I said, not sure if I'm just going to stop at 20 here, or if I'm just going to keep clearing until we get up to the Duriel fight. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I feel like there is worth in the investment of leveling up here. If not for Duriel, then for the future. If I die in the Duriel fight, that'll definitely show that I probably should have leveled up even more. So it's gonna be something we don't really know how foolish I was until we pass that point. So hopefully you guys don't mind watching me randomly level up. I mean, I guess that's a lot of the game anyways, is just randomly killing monsters. Yeah. Just this time I'm not progressing as quickly as I could be. After this point, there's not excellent places to level up in Act 3 as well, so this could be considered a good time to worry about it. Act 3 in general is an interesting act. I don't think it's many people's favorite. Usually people argue between Act 2 and Act 3 for their least favorite. I'm a fairly simple man myself. I actually just like Act 1. And Act 1, 4, and 5 are all pretty good for me. I don't really pick favorites too much, but sometimes simplicity is a good thing. Again, probably don't need to go back to repair, but I'm going to do it anyways. Just to be careful. And back we go. So we got quite lucky running into the super unique immediately in the first tomb. That was interesting. Have a lot of guys to cut through here. healing. And down he goes anyways. Too much for him to deal with, I guess. Which is fair enough, it was a ton of enemies. Again, I'm just going to get him back. So why not? So like I said, Duriel's level 22 mob, and it's usually good to be as high level as you can while not being extremely over leveled for the sake of farming, but for bosses, be as high level as you possibly can. It's just in your best interest. Oh, I should not have run in here. That was a mistake. Okay. Our poor mercenary suffered because of it. Just gonna post up on this corner here. Get rid of all the ooh, I think that's a aura enchanted ghost. Kiting them back here so I'm not getting potentially hit by a ton of guys at once here. Now ghosts always have a mana drain portion, that's why our mana is quickly evaporating. Oh, that's that handled. Is there a mana potion somewhere on the ground? That would be nice. Leveling up works too. More health probably. I think I was keeping up with my block chance there. I think I was actually like keeping 75% even as I was leveling, just because I was putting so many points into decks, but that's going to become less relevant in a bit because I'm going to get Holy Shield at 24, which will just overall improve our block chance by a flat number, which will allow us to get use different shields that aren't just really high block chance. So that'll be nice. I'm probably going to just finish clearing this tomb and then see how much XP we have at the end of that. And then decide from there whether or not to stick with it. Charms are always nice, especially small charms. Oh boy. Beetles. Lovely. Gonna play very cautiously with them again. I can pull one or two at a time. See, that's why I don't want to walk into a bunch of them at once. 'Cause that's how you get yourself killed. This one. Using the door there to try and avoid some of the main shots. That's not a bad little charm. Extra resistance, some damage. See, here's thawing potions. You'll notice I have 0 cold resist, but then boom, goes up to 50 for I think it's 30 seconds, something like that. Like I said, the effect stacks. Not the resistance portion, but the duration part. It's an interesting little tidbit that I don't think many people take advantage of. People usually know to bring antidote potions for Duriel, which does have a similar effect, although I think in that case the actual poison resist stacks, but I'm not positive of that. But most people know, hey, it's a good idea to bring antidotes against Duriel. But then most people don't think to bring thawing potions in general, I would say, regardless of what boss you're going up against. I'm sure if you're very conscious about it, you could just always bring thawing potions with you, because there's usually a good amount of cold damage in the game. So if you knew it was coming, you could just like chug 100 potions. I don't know, there's probably an upper limit on how many times it can stack, but might as well find it, right? Of course, that's a level of preparation that I'm sure not many people want to do. So that's also fair. This is a game about killing things, not drinking potions. So accidentally tabbed myself out there. Luckily I wasn't in the middle of a fight. That could have been awkward. So if you saw any hiccups in the recording there, that was why. Okay, add these unravelers. It looks like we cleared this tomb. So I'm really uncertain whether or not I should keep clearing or just go and bite the bullet and fight him. I don't know how many more levels we could get out of these tombs. Probably at least one more. It's going to be a matter of whether or not I think it's worth the time. I mean, if it's die or live, obviously it'll be worth any amount of time, but maybe I'm just overreacting to the threat of Duriel. Maybe we'll do one more tomb, see where we wind up level-wise. We still, of course, have to get to Duriel himself, which will be one more tomb. So if we just set ourselves up close, we can just make sure to clear his tomb before we go in, and that should get us another level. These guys with their poison breath. Oh, that is another full room. Just cleansing off the oops. Just cleansing off the poison there, that's what I was trying to say. I'm curious to hear what your guys' level up zones are when you're not doing runs. Like, tombs are an actual popular spot for leveling up, especially if you have someone to run you through, or just a big group, because of course the more people in game, the more XP you get off mobs. But I'd be interested to hear your guys' strategies for keeping up in levels. Like, do you just make sure to clear all the side zones? Like, for example, I didn't go through, you know, Stony Tomb or the ancient tunnels and all that. There is a legitimate strategy, I suppose, to just go through all the zones. I always thought it would be funny to figure out how long it would take to do a playthrough where you actually just kill everything. Like, in Diablo 1, mobs don't respawn. There's just a finite amount of guys there that you need to kill before the game ends, kind of thing. Like, you go back to the zone, you'll just find all the corpses of people you killed. So it'd be funny to treat Diablo 2 the same by, like, clearing every single zone for as much as you possibly could, it would be pretty time consuming. Although I don't think it would be as time consuming as you would think, because if you think back to like when I was looking for the maggot lair, for example, I pretty much cleared all of the dry hills. I cleared the halls, I cleared the main zone. So it would just be more or less about making sure you go into those optional areas and clear them out as well. It would definitely be fun to do, I think, if you had more people. With one person, it would be a lot more thorough, while like if you're in a group, you could just go off in pairs or something and just fan out in a zone. Make sure you're close enough to give each other XP, of course, but really divide and conquer on taking out everything. I think that could be fun. Probably wouldn't be too terribly interesting to watch, just because it would be very procedural, I suppose, in that you would just be making sure to check all the nooks and crannies for all the mobs before proceeding on. But you'd definitely be high level, I would imagine. Although there must be a level of diminishing returns if just you would get over leveled at some point. And it'd be hard to justify fighting all the under-leveled mobs, essentially. But I'd be curious to see like the difference in total level once you get to the very end. If it would be extremely noticeable or not noticeable at all. If it would be just one level or two, then that probably wouldn't be worth all the extra effort. I'm letting our merc clear out all the lightning. He doesn't seem to have issues with it. He's barely taking damage. Wow, there were a lot in here. Holy crap. This is a busy room. Let's give our guy a potion. And get at these unravelers. Alright, that seems to be that room cleared. So I think if we head to the real tomb, we should be leveled up by the time we get there. So I'm going to head back, and I'm going to gear up, and then we'll go on to Duriel in the next one. So I'll see you guys then.